Listen to me. You are watching Billy D.
Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Billy D, or BD55 on Letterboxd, if you just want to check that out for a second. I'm just happy you guys are here because I'm talking about two movies. I know it says 7 review, but some of you guys know that in the top corner right there is a movie called Frailty, and I feel like both movies have similar topics, and we're going to get into that in a second. So one of the things I really want to say is go see 7. It's probably one of the best movies. I'm going to give a quick synopsis here. That's about Detective Mills, who's a young up-and-coming rookie who really wants to get into it. He fought to get into one of the worst crime areas of I don't know what city. It looks like New York. Detective Somerset, which is Morgan Freeman, who is on the way out. He has 7 days till retirement. How cliche. Then a huge case gets thrown upon them. It looked like a suicide at first, but then they started investigating because they're detectives, and they find out, oh no, this is a murder case. And then Brad Pitt gets his own case. Well, they're connected. And yes, the movie is 7. So you got pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. The movie is a ride. I'm going to stop it here just because the rest is kind of spoilery. Frailty. This is one that I would say go in blind. It's a Matthew McConaughey movie. That should probably tell you there. He's basically going to an FBI agent, and he's telling the story about the original God Hand Killer and who he believes is the new God Hand Killer. So that's just a little bit of it. I'm going to give you a little bit more, but if you're sold, just go ahead and go watch it. It's about a dad who comes home on a random night and tells his boys, look, an angel came to me. He's going to tell me to do things for God. It's about taking out demons, and those demons are real people, but they don't see it as real people. They see it as demons, and he has a list of names, and he starts taking them out. But the thing is you don't really see what he sees. He basically touches the victim, and he gets a vision, but you don't see it. Is dad crazy? Does the other boy believe it? Does he even believe it? And then at the end, it gives one of the weirdest twists. Kind of like how 7 had its own twist, this one has its own weird twist, and you guys should check this out. Both movies, I would say 7's 5 out of 5, Frailty's 4.5 out of 5, and I'll get into those reasons in a second. But here comes some spoilers. So Mills and Somerset, they are basically yin and yang. One is a hopeful, driven, really excited to get into the detective aspect work, and he just talks a lot.
Big insurance policy involved, yeah? This guy took the tip of the blade, stuck it in his own shoulder blades, and he must have screwed up a few times because there was multiples back there.
Could you please be quiet?
Somerset's more intelligent in a sense that he has years and years and years of service to the job. He knows what's going on. He has interconnections. While Mills watches TV and tries to solve a case, Somerset goes to a library, kind of has the whole library to himself, and enjoys reading. I really like the foreshadowing, bumping into the unknown killer, and I love how the unknown killer is not said in the opening credits. Apparently that's Kevin Spacey's idea. Let's talk about the introduction real quick. They do 9 Inch Nails at the very beginning, a weird start off to a 90s cop drama, and the way they are showing little bits and little scenes and him putting together the journals, the names popping up, it's all cool. It's all aesthetically 90s, and this movie couldn't get any more 90s. In fact, if you release this movie today, it's like a contemporary horror. It's like if Longlegs that just came out, people would be raving about this movie. Style, the direction, David Fincher just knocks it out of the park. In fact, I believe this is his first real movie. I know he had Alien 3, but he just came in and shot it. He didn't write the story. This is the movie that I would say is his first movie, and you can tell that this is his style, and from there on, like Fight Club and all the other movies he's done, he has a sense of direction. So a few more things that I want to talk about this movie is they go through the 7 deadly sins, but it's more pulled back than what I remember. I seen this movie 10 years ago, and I seen it again with a bunch of friends, but the scenes, the grisly murders that you get to walk in on, it does different things, unique things, and it doesn't linger on some of the victims. What I'm saying is it's pretty tamed if you compare it to like Saw or any other crime drama that you get in modern days. And I can appreciate that. This is more of a story about Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman and how they're going about this case. To where on the flip side, they don't really linger in on the villain until it's a necessary must, and I love the twist on how he turns himself in, but I'm getting kind of ahead. When I said Somerset had some connections, what I'm talking about is there's like an underground library thing where if you check out certain books, oh, you're kind of flagged for it, and that's how they got the name John Doe. They go to his apartment, and I love the chase sequence of John Doe and Brad Pitt. I love how you can't really see his face, and he really does look like a generic person, anybody on the streets really. And another compliment I have to give, especially with the IMAX posters that are out right now, is the way John Doe gets the upper hand on Brad Pitt. He's on the ground and there's a beautiful scene with the gun and him just pointing it down and you don't see his face, but it's so artsy. I love that shot. That shot is just so beautiful. Also, Morgan Freeman and his relationship with Brad Pitt's wife, who is played by a young Gwyneth Paltrow, and she does phenomenal in this movie. One of my favorite scenes is where Brad Pitt is basically like, we had you, we were going to get you, it was just a matter of time. And he goes, really? After I get through all my victims, what was your plan? Just for me to walk in and turn myself in? He's like, we knew where you live. He's like, what are you talking about? The whole car scene is just phenomenal. I really like the conversation that they had, and it could be very, very poorly written and come off as cringy, but the way that they're doing it was pretty fun. So he gets excited, he's like, oh, we're almost there, and he's rocking back in his chair. Morgan Freeman talks about martyrs and how they shouldn't take pleasure in what they're doing if they're being forced to do so. So he's talking nonsense. This guy is just a crazy nut, but he's doing it just to point out that everybody is living in sin, and why should we be praising or like being apathetic to all these people of sin when everybody can be good people if they just put their best foot forward. Not everybody's good. Not everybody's clean. Everybody has one of the 7 deadly sins that they're fallen into. And is there really any good people out there? Even Somerset says he has some flaws. He even tells you at a diner some of the things he's regret. The way the movie plays at your emotions and make you think, like, this is a movie you walk out and like your stomach's in knots and you're like, dang, that was one hell of an ending. The music, the coloring, the lighting, this whole movie's perfect. So 7 gets a 5 out of 5, like I said. The next movie I want to talk about is Frailty. Everybody knows 7. Very few people know about Frailty. Frailty is a movie that's directed by Bill Paxton, who also plays the dad in this movie, as Matthew McConaughey is telling the FBI director about his dad and how he was the original God Hand killer and how he believed that God gave him an axe that said Otis, and he's using it on his victims in the shed, eventually a storm cellar, that it's needed to happen. The funny thing I like about this movie is the way they set it up is dad had a vision in his sleep, goes and tells the kids, and then he's like, all right, don't tell anybody. And they wake up the next day, everything seems normal, and as he's driving away, he's like, wait a minute, hey, you guys better not tell anybody. And then the oldest son is like, man, this is all messed up, there's no way dad's gonna go through with it. And then dad starts bringing home demons, which is real people, and that's what you see is real people just tied up, shaken, and then like the dad touches them, the dad gets a vision, apparently the kid gets a vision, and they see the demonic and evil things that these people did, and apparently they deserve death according to this list. The plot twist of it all was spectacular. The main reason why this isn't a 5 out of 5 is because everything seems so tamed. It's so pulled back. I beg you, I urge you, if you have not paused this to go see that movie, do it now, because I'm spoiling this next scene. Even when the father gets unalived by Fenton, it's just rubbery. I felt like it just stuck into him. There's no real gore whatsoever, and the jump scare of the kid taking the axe is pretty cool, but you just don't see anything. Even when the people deserve it, there's one old man that definitely deserved it. Nothing much got out of it. That's why I say this is a very good TV movie. If you saw this on TNT, you'd be like, whoa, this is one of the best movies I've ever seen. I want to see the extended cut or the unrated cut or the rated R version. And this movie is rated R, by the way. It just has a pullback to it. It's still a 4.5 out of 5, and I really encourage you guys to go check it out. Billy, why did you put these two movies together? They're both about killers that believe that God had a better purpose for them, and they're going for it. So the whole time I'm thinking that Dad's crazy. Kind of like how you're thinking that 7 Deadly Sin Killer is crazy. Come to find out, the God Hand Killer, he actually had some gravity to him. He actually was doing it for the right purposes. They can essentially make a great sequel to this film, and I bet you they could make a good sequel to 7. Detective Mills, who is on a job and he needs some advice from Somerset, and they can go through it. And that's depending on the ending of 7. So, questions. A friend asked me, does Detective Mills who go to jail? I'm like, this can be seen as an act of passion, but then again, there's no way I would say he's still a detective. He had to have to work his way back up. So in the comments, let me know, do you think Detective Mills is still a part of the police force? Did he get time for doing what he did? Let me know in the comments how that works out. And then on the flip side, let me know if you're going to see Frailty. Both movies are great. And if you stuck with me through my first review ever, this is just a trial run. I'm trying to get good at this. What would you like more? Would you like me to talk about the synopsis more? Would you like me to give better rating than a 5 out of 5 or 4.5 out of 5? Just let me know. Thank you guys for following. Thank you guys for liking. You guys are stellar. I love you all, and can't wait to see you guys again.
Thank you for watching, you little bastard.